What's going on, everyone? So we have the full training camp roster for this upcoming season. As you can see, you got Colin Castleton, Max Christie, Anthony Davis, Jordan Goodwin, Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Bronny James Jr., LeBron James, Kyler Kelly, Dalton Connect, Christian Koloko, Maxwell Lewis, Quincy Olivari, Austin Reeves, Cam Reddish, D'Angelo Russell, Armel Traore, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and Christian Wood. Really excited for training camp. We are right around the corner. You have media day on Monday, and then just 2 days later is training camp on the 1st. Now, obviously, we're excited and we want to hear about the key guys, right? You want to hear what things have Austin Reeves improved on, D'Angelo Russell, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Obviously, be nice to kind of hear about Armel Traore and Gabe Vincent, right? What does Gabe Vincent look like now that he's back, now that he's healthy, right? Jalen Hood-Schifino. But I think that there's a handful of guys that I'm personally more curious, and I think many of you should be as well, because they are guys that could potentially have an impact on the roster. Now, obviously, we know the core main guys. What's Rui doing? LeBron, Anthony Davis, our starting five. How does our starting five look? How do some of the key bench guys look? But beyond that, I think there are a handful of guys that are something we really need to kind of keep an eye on, kind of keep an ear out for, and I'm sure we'll hear some stuff in training camp. So let's dive into a couple. Now, right off the bat is Christian Koloko. First off, I hope that the NBA even clears him for actual training camp and playing time. Right now, he still isn't cleared by the league, at least at the time of recording this video. It could have changed between now and then. But time of recording this video, we still have no idea with Christian Koloko. However, let's go under the assumption that he does get cleared, because again, he's on the training camp roster, so I'd imagine some point we get the news that he's been cleared. He is a guy that is looked at to come in and get real minutes right off the bat and play a potential key role right off the bat. High energy, floor running center that can block shots, rebound, shown a little bit of the ability to stretch the floor. We'll see how well he is and if he's improved in that area enough to where he really can be reliable in that regard. But even just him being an athletic floor running big that's going to go, basket to basket, rebound, play hard, give you 110% out there on the basketball court, be able to be a role man, right? Kind of play the Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford role, right? I've talked about, player comparisons with Christian Koloko and what he could potentially do. And like I've talked about is that I think an excellent comparison for him is a Derek Lively, a Daniel Gafford. Look at how they were able to just kind of really make an impact as just being centers that can be deterrents at the rim, run the floor well, kind of get out in transition. You can always count on to kind of be a trailer, clean things up. They're going to play hard. They're going to rebound hard. Right? They're just going to do the dirty work. And that's what I could see Christian Koloko coming in and being a guy that can come in, kind of just do the dirty work for the Lakers. A guy that can come in and have an impact, kind of play both sides of the basketball, slot alongside Anthony Davis. If he can stretch the floor a little bit, you may even be able to slot him alongside Jackson Hayes at times, kind of go really big. Just the idea is to give you some versatility. And there's a lot of talks about at some point this season, he'll actually be on the main roster, that he won't just be a guy that's on the two-way, right? That at some point Lakers are going to pull off some type of trade or something, and that'll open up a raw spot for Christian Koloko. So I would imagine the Lakers are first going to kind of want to gauge and see what can he do, because you got to keep in mind, he's missed the last year and a half, right? And it's not easy to just go from that to jumping right into the NBA. And yes, he's been working out. Yes, he's been doing drills. He's been doing all kinds of stuff. It's not the same thing as actual NBA games. Working out at home or at your local Y or something like that and playing scrimmages with, it's not the same thing as playing actual NBA level basketball. It's just, there's no simulating that. So Christian Koloko is a guy that is a big question mark. There are a lot of questions about Koloko and what he's going to be able to do and if he'll be able to deliver on that basketball court this season for the Lakers. Or is this kind of like the get your legs under you year, and then next year is when you start trying to develop him? But he's also not getting younger, right? Already 24. You don't want to have to develop him another 3 years, and now he's 27, and then he needs a year or two to kind of get his legs under him and kind of emerge into his own, and now he's 30 by the time he's ready to really kind of play a prominent role, right? You'd like to see the impact right away, and then it's like, okay, kind of spend the next 2-3 years really developing him to where now he's 27 and he's ready to be that starter. He's ready to be a 10-10 guy with like a block and a half a game, whatever, 2 blocks. Now you're talking. Slot him alongside Anthony Davis, right? Things like that. But next up, sticking with the centers, is Colin Castleton. Now, I have argued you may be able to kind of play Colin Castleton in the Karl Anthony Towns type role, where he can play center and power forward at times. Because one of the things that Colin Castleton showed is his ability to shoot the 3 ball and shoot it well in Summer League. Now, Summer League and actual NBA action are 2 very different things. Physicality, pace, everything is just so much different. But if he can show that he can knock down the 3 ball with some regularity and at least be respectable, not saying he has to shoot 40% or anything crazy like that, but if he can at least just be respectable enough, teams have to challenge, that would open so much for him. With him being 6'10", 6'11", like to be able to kind of pair him even alongside a Christian Koloko or an Anthony Davis or a Jackson Hayes, right? And his ability to stretch the floor. But more than anything is his playmaking ability. He is such a good playmaker out of the post and just really scans and reads the floor so well, right? He's not Jokic, but he is very good. He gets that ball in the post and he scans and surveys, he does the full 3 count, boom, 1, 2, 3, and then move. Whether it's a pass or he's beating a guy off the dribble, he does not miss a beat in that. He's really good out of the post. He's a guy you can dump the ball down to, kind of go to work, finish with either hand. He is incredibly skilled. My only problem with Colin Castleton is he plays like he's 5'11" at times rather than him being, 6'11". He just plays so soft for a big man. He just gets pushed around by smaller guys at times, right? He's not physical. He's shown and has been that in moments, right? He's had moments where he's gone in and given you the and one, and you're just like, let's go. There you go. And finished strong and, kind of powered his way through contact. But can he do that game in and game out? Because he's had his struggles with physicality in Summer League. Imagine what he does and how he deals with it in the regular season. Which is kind of why I like him kind of slotted at the 4, because now there's not as much pressure for him to be this physical presence, right? Like he could play kind of your Christian Wood role while Christian Wood is gone, where he kind of comes in, probably best at the 4, right? But he can slot in at the 5 at times, especially if a team's like kind of going small. Say you play the Warriors, right? Colin Castleton makes a lot of sense at that like center position against, maybe not really a Draymond, because Draymond's just going to push him around, but some of these other guys, Trace Jackson, whatever, right? And then his ability to, again, make plays out of the post, his ability to pass and stretch the floor. Right? He's a guy that could really be a key versatile piece for the Lakers this year. And at some point, I've talked about this before with him. At some point, you got to just let him sink or swim. Right? At what point do you just kind of throw him to the wolves and just see what he does? Does he just completely panic and drown, or is he actually able to figure it out and swim to the shoreline? Right? Like, it's a real question. But Jalen Hood-Schifino. Now, he's supposedly 100% ready to go, got the green light. He's been looking good in workouts. All offseason last year, all we heard was that Jalen Hood-Schifino was the best player in Summer League or in training camp. and was just this monster and blah, 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 blah. And in his defense, look, I know a lot of people like to write him off as a bust. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion. I just don't. The guy played, like 3 minutes a game in garbage time. Like, how, like, you're not playing, he wasn't playing organized basketball. He's playing garbage time where you're just trying to get out of the game. Guys are just jacking up shots. There's no real structure. It's basically street ball out there. It's an absolute mess. All right, like, what can he do in real structured offense? What can he do with his size, his strength, his versatility? I like Jalen Hood-Schifino a lot. I liked him a lot when the Lakers drafted him. I have defended this man through and through, right? Like, and because I do. I have a lot of faith in Jalen Hood-Schifino. But I need to see him in action. Right, we're already starting to hear Jalen Hood-Schifino, man. He's already this, that, and the other. And we know we're going to get the training camp. It's going to be like, Jalen Hood-Schifino, man. He's this, that, and the other. Like, okay, that's great to hear, but what can we see him on the actual basketball court? Can we see him in some real meaningful minutes? Right, I'm not saying you have to play him 30 minutes a game, but can we give him some level of consistency? Can we let him play, a game here and there? 15 minutes a game and just see, D'Lo's out for a game. All right, let's start Gabe Vincent and put Jalen Hood-Schifino as the backup for 20 minutes. Right? Like, let's see what Jalen Hood-Schifino can give you. Right? And then, stick with the young guy, even if he has a bad game. Right? Like, trust the process. Like, let him get a feel. Let him kind of get his legs under him. It's just, at some point, like I said with Colin Castleton, at some point you got to start throwing these guys to the wolves. I get he's going in a year or two, but, we could use a guy of his skill set. 6'6", got good wingspan, good size, good strength, can essentially play 1 through 3, could be your second or third playmaker out there on the basketball court, give you a change of pace, right, from D'Lo and Reeves. You could throw him, like him, Max Christie, Cam Reddish, Christian Koloko, and Rui Hachimura or something out there, however you want to do it, right? You could throw a unit out there like that and just go, right? Just fast pace and space type thing, and just go, right? Especially if he can shoot well. The only real sample size we have is the G League, in which he was the best player on the court every night. Which, I understand the G League is not the NBA, but to be a 19-year-old rookie and be able to give you, 22, 6 and 6 or something like that, right? But he also shot like 43% from three-point range. I'm not saying he's going to be that in the NBA, but can he be 38%, right? Make some plays, get some passes, be aggressive, get to the basket, finish strong, right? Like, he could be, more than anything, it's like his potential defensive versatility. He can be that defensive piece that can basically switch 1 through 4 really on occasion. That would just be huge for the Lakers to have. And then if he can knock down the 3 with some regularity, he could be tough. But lastly, Max Christie. I want to talk about Max Christie because, again, just like Jalen Hood-Schifino, all you've heard is Max Christie's taking this step and that step and this step and that step. And look, I'm all for it. I have been incredibly high on Max Christie. Right? I mean, to the point where people are like, Tyler, you might be delusional. Right? But I do. I have a lot of faith in Max Christie. Right? Like, he's already in a limited minutes, inconsistent role, and just like through all the question marks, is arguably our second best behind Jared Vanderbilt on-ball defender. Definitely an argument for Cam Reddish. Definitely an argument for Gabe Vincent. But I do think Max Christie is in that argument. And he was 40% on catch and shoot threes. If he could just maintain that 40%, and he was that rookie and last year, sophomore year. So 2 straight years he's been 40+% on catch and shoot threes. He can maintain that, right? And then play an expanded role, be able to defend. I mean, he's the prototypical 3-and-D 2 guard. Talked about it, kind of being our KCP Danny Green-esque. Obviously, those 2 guys in their peak were the prototype. We're literally the staple. We're the example, right, of your 3-and-D. Like, what teams desperately wanted, right? So Max Christie, he has a long way to go to get to that point, but can he be a version of that? Even if he's half of what KCP is, that would be massive for the Lakers, particularly off the bench in spots, being able to come in and defend. Also, he's another guy that he could end up being our sixth man, right? The bench doesn't have a ton of scoring. Bench doesn't have a ton of offense, right? So Max Christie may really be looked at as a piece to kind of provide that scoring bunch. It's just something to kind of keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Is there anyone else that you are really looking forward to and excited for? Like I said, I mean, obviously LeBron, AD, D'Lo, the usual suspects. Obviously, I want to hear about. But these guys, more than anything, I'm extra curious about, right? I want to hear even more, obviously. Dalton Connect is another one you could really put on this list. The only reason I didn't is because I've just talked so heavily about Dalton Connect. And, you know, these are the guys that I've already played. Like Dalton Connect's the rookie. Right? Obviously, I'm curious. I want to see what he can do. But these other guys are guys that it's like, okay, time to start seeing some guys take some strides, take some leaps. But again, I would feel whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.